Here's what we have. So at most means less than or equal to, at least means greater than or equal to. So total hours, that's my X and my Y, cannot work more than 20 hours. So how do I show that what I do combined between both jobs has to be less than 20 hours, less than or equal to 20 hours? What's my first job? My first job is X hours dog walking. I don't know how many hours it is, but it's represented by the variable X. So the number of hours I work at dog walking plus the number of hours I work at the car wash has to be less than or equal to 20, because I can't work more than 20 hours a week. And that used to be like a stipulation for minors, right? You could only work like 15, 20, 25, depending on your age. I don't think it's like that anymore, but it used to be. Okay, so the at least, that deals with money, right? At least money. So how much money do I make as a dog walker? So 7.5x plus how much money do I make at the car wash? 6y has to be greater than or equal to 92. Okay, so here is what we're going to do first. I'm going to remind you guys of one thing. Do you remember when you learned the cover-up method? It was kind of like your most favorite method. So if I look at this, x plus y is less than or equal to 20. If I covered up the y, that means x equals 20. This tells me where my graph crosses the x-axis, correct? Do you guys remember that? The cover-up method? It was kind of one of the easiest methods of graphing an equation. So then if I cover up the x, that tells me that y equals 20, and this is where my graph crosses the y-axis, right? And because of the inequality, am I going to shade above or below? I'm going to shade below because whatever I do has to be less than 20 on the x-axis and less than 20 on the y-axis. So I'm going to shade below my line. That's okay. And it's going to be solid. Let's use the cover-up method to figure out the other equation because this is a system, remember? So we have two equations. So if I use the cover-up for this one, 7.5x has to be greater than or equal to 92. Divide both sides by 7.5. What is 92 divided by 7.5? Anyone with a calculator? Just give me to the nearest tenth. Say it again. 12.2. Perfect. 6y has to be greater than or equal to 92. Oh, sorry, 92, not 90. What's that? If I divide both sides by 6, what's that become? So y is greater than or equal to 15.3. So this is where I cross the y-axis, and this is where I cross the x-axis. Because it's got to be greater than, I'm going to shade above, and it's going to be a solid line. So if you guys flip to the next page, we have a graph for our answers, I believe. Do we not have a graph? Did I put a graph in there? Yes, I did. Okay, so I'm going to go to that graph. So this is going to be number 1. So number 1 was the inequality x plus y has to be less than or equal to 20. And we said that the intercepts were 20 on the y-axis. Oh, I got to shrink that up. And 20 on the x-axis. Was this a solid line or a dashed line? And did we shade above it or below it? Below. So that's what this looks like. Shading below. Our next inequality was 7.5x plus 6y has to be greater than or equal to 92. And we said that we crossed the x-axis at about 12.3, I think. And the y-axis gets crossed at about 15.2. Is that right? Isn't that what we said? Okay, so X at 12.3. So I'm just going to put a line right here, a point right there in between the 12 and the 13. It's just an approximation. There's no way that we could do that exactly. And I'm going to put a dot on the y-axis right above the 15. This is going to be a solid line, correct? Yay or nay? Yes. Shade above or below? Above. So let's talk about what that means. It means that the solution to this system of inequalities is, remember, the place where the graph, each individual inequality solution overlaps. So this yellow region is where they overlap. So that means that I can pick a point anywhere in the yellow region. So I'm going to pick the point 11, 7. I'm going to pick the ordered pair 11, 7. Well, if I add 11 plus 7, 11 is my X and 7 is my Y. Is that less than or equal to 20? 11 plus 7 is what? Is that less than 20? Okay, so it works there. Now I'm going to plug it into the other inequality. 7.5 times 11 plus 6 times 7, and it has to be greater than or equal to $92. So what is 7.5 times 11? Thank you, 82.5. Plus 6 times 7 is 42. Does that equal more than $92? Yeah, it does. So that also works. So remember that any point inside the solution area is going to work. Okay. Do you guys remember that? Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, sure. Yeah, I will. You're welcome. Okay, let's look at number 2. Marcia is buying plants and soil for her garden. Soil costs $4 per bag and the plants cost $10 each. She wants to buy at least 5 plants and spend no more than $100. So I'm going to let X equal the number of bags, because that's the first thing I'm buying, of soil. And I'm going to let Y equal the number of plants. Now, does it say anything about how much soil she needs? It doesn't. So there's no inequality specifically for the X, but it does say that she needs to buy at least what? So how do I show that Y, the number of plants, has to be at least 5? Y, the number of plants, has to be at least 5. Tell me what we said that at least meant. Greater than or equal to. Good job. So that's my first inequality. Y has to be greater than or equal to 5. The second one is just going to deal with money. How much is a bag of soil? $4. So 4X plus how much is a plant? So 10Y. And I can spend no more than 100. That means what? No more than? Less than or equal to $100. So we're going to graph those two inequalities. This one is nice, like nice whole numbers, no decimals. Let's solve this for Y really fast. So I think you guys do best when it's solved for Y. How am I going to solve for Y? For the 4X plus 10Y equals 100. Okay, so minus 4X. So 10Y is less than or equal to negative 4X plus 100. Divide everything by 10. So Y is less than or equal to negative, let's see, 10 and 5, sorry, 4 and 10 are both even. So I'm going to reduce that to 2/5, a negative 2/5 X plus 10. Okay, so I'm going to graph this and this on equation number 2. Are you guys ready? Can I go there? So y is greater than or equal to 5 and y is less than or equal to, yeah, give me a second. Y is greater than or equal to 5 and y is less than or equal to negative 2/5 x plus 10. Those are the two inequalities that we're graphing. I'm going to go back for you, Gavin. Is that what you needed, just those two equations? Okay. So what do we know about the line y is greater than or equal to 5? What kind of a line is that? We just had one of these in our notes and in our homework. Yes, but which way? Horizontal. This is a horizontal line. Okay, so that means that I go to where y is 5. Is it going to be solid or dashed? Solid because of the inequality. I'm going to put a nice horizontal line there. And am I going to shade above this line or below it? I'm going to shade above it. Okay. Next one. I'm going to begin at positive where? Where am I going to begin? Positive 10. And I have a slope of down 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A slope of down 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go down 1, 2 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just so I can get a nice straight line. Is this going to be a solid line or a dashed line? Solid line. Am I shading above this or below this? Below, because it's less than. It's the less than symbol, so I have to shade below this line. So the solution set, my yellow and my blue, turn into what? Green. So the green area is the solution set, meaning I can only pick a point in that green area. So I want someone to identify a point in the green area, and we're going to check it. One. 7, 2. Is that what you said? So 7, 2 is right here. That's not in the green area. Oh, 2, 7. Okay, that is in the green area. So the ordered pair 2, comma 7. Remember, that's my x and my y. So for the first point, do I have to do anything with the x here? No, I just need to use the y coordinate. Is 7 in fact greater than or equal to 5? Yes. For the second inequality, I have to use both points. So y is less than or equal to negative 2/5 times 2 plus 10. And I'm going to replace that y with the number 7 because that's the point that Antoine picked. So let's see. 7 is less than or equal to, well, negative 2/5 times 2 is negative 4/5 plus 10. Negative 4/5 plus 10. Well, that's 9.2 or 9 and 1/5, either or. Is 7 less than 9.2 or 9 and 1/5? Yes, it is. So that works. Okay. Let's do one more word problem. Do you guys want to do number 3 or number 4? They're both 4. Okay. John is packing books into boxes. Each box can either hold 15 small books or 8 large books. He needs to pack at least 35 boxes and at least 350 books. I'm going to change this at least to no more than. I'm going to say no more than. Scribble out at least and turn it into no more than. Scribble it out and make it say no more than, please. Okay, so I'm going to let x equal the number of small books And I'm going to let y equal the number of large books. So let's see what it says about the number of books. He needs to pack at least how many books? At least 350. So that means the number of small books plus the number of large books has to be at least 350. Okay. What about the next one? No more than, less than or equal to. How many boxes? Nope, boxes. 35 boxes. Okay. We have this backwards. I have this backwards. This should be 15x and 8y number of books because there's 15 books in one box, 8 in the other, and then this should be, I thought that was weird, sorry, x and y is less than 35. Put your coefficients on the other one. Sorry about that, guys and gals. Okay, so do you want to solve for y or do you want to use the intercept methods? Intercept methods. Okay, so the x and the y intercept for the bottom equation is x is 35, y is 35. So these are the x and the y axes. This is where they're going to cross the axis. That's for the first equation, or the second equation. For the first equation, I have 15x is equal to 350 and 8y is equal to 350. So divide both sides by 15 and then divide both sides by 8. So what's 350 divided by 15? 2. Yeah, 23.3. Perfect. And what's 350 divided by 8? 43.7. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to have to change the way we count on our number grid. Okay. So let's go to this. Yes, I'm going back. Let's count by threes on your number grid instead of by ones. We're going to count by threes. Is everybody good with that? Okay. So I'm going to graph number 3 or number 4. What did we do? Problem number 4? Counting by threes. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn the 5 into a 15, my 10 into a 30, my 15 into a 45, and my 20 into a 60. And I'm going to do that on both axes because otherwise we're not going to fit all of our data on there. So just pick any number on that number line and multiply it by 3 because we're counting by threes. Okay. So for the first equation, we had that we crossed the y-axis at 35. So let's see, 35, that's, this is 12 is 36. So it's going to be like right in between the 11 and the 12, closer to the 12 on the x-axis and closer to the 12 on the y-axis because 3 times 12 is 36. So it's going to be right below that. Okay. And that was the number of boxes, right? Okay. And what inequality symbol was that? No more than? So shading this way. No more than 35 boxes. I don't want a whole bunch of boxes. Okay. And then the next one was how many places, like how many books we were going to pack, right? And what do we say the x-intercept and the y-intercept was? Because I don't remember. What do we solve for? The x-intercept was, what was it? No, that was for the first equation. What about for the other, like that was for the second equation. What about for the other one? It was some decimals. 23.3. And what was the other one? 43.7. Okay. So 23.3, 15, let's see. 8 times 3 is 24. So it's going to be right below the 8. Do you guys see how I'm kind of trying to figure that out? 7 times 3 is 21. So it's going to be in between the 7 and the 8, but closer to the 8. And now I have to find the 43. So let's see. 14 times 3 is 42. 15 times 3 is 45. So it's going to be in between the 14 and the 15 on the y-axis. And I'm going to connect these two. And this was an at least. We have to have at least 350 books. So that's going to be like this thing right here. So if I said, what is a sample number of books that could be packed, what would you say? Or small boxes. What's a point in our solution set? 9, 2, I think is exactly right, except that it's not really 9, 2, because remember we counted by 3. So we have to multiply both of those by 3. So that would really be 27, 6. 27 small boxes, 6 large boxes, or boxes. I don't know. Okay. To what? Okay. Okay. So your new packet that you got today says week 15. Your homework assignment is right on the first 3 pages. So you have 1, 2, and a word problem with a graph on the back all the way through 10. Who passed those out for me? Miss Kate. That's okay. You have pages 1 through 4. Wait, you think that you didn't finish your quiz? Yeah. Okay. Yes, you may. Please sign out. Oh, wait, you have to go after Corbett. He has to go first. Sorry. Shh. You have to wait until after Daniel. Yeah, you have to do your quizzes. Yeah. Go. No warm up.